G'day! This video is sponsored by Surfshark.
I just want to join pieces of wood to other pieces of wood, do art and buy groceries. I want to be able to afford sourdough by the loaf, egg by the dozen, bacon by the things. I want to get a little bit of almond milk, a little bit of avocado, maybe a jar of olives if things are going well. Most importantly, I just want to make cool stuff, be excellent to each other, and then fade off into obscurity.
I have a bit of a deadline for this video. Not because of the sponsor, I can meet that timeline. My real deadline is for another reason, and my shed days, as I call them, are drying up very quickly and I'm feeling a little under the pump. I need this project done to prepare for what is coming next. To get this project finished in time, I have asked Sam from Gumtree Hill Woodwork to help me out. Not only is he a guru at joining pieces of wood to other pieces of wood, he's pretty handy with SketchUp. I gave him one of my quick sketches and said, do magical things. It'll be a cool way to make me try new things, get better at woodwork, solve other things, and hopefully share some cool ideas. And of course to try and sell this and try and make some cassiola or sourdough and avocados. These are the stretchers left over from the 19 pallets that I harvested last year to establish, are these worth it? It was. Now I want to know if these stringers are worth the extra effort. They are full of nails, staples, cracks and voids. They are warped, bowed, skewed and generally wonky as a donkey. I had Harley give me a hand pulling out the nails, and I told him how Grandpa used to say to me, every one that you do is one that I don't have to do. So Harley, work faster. And we lolled. It only took about 1.5 hours to de-nail, metal detect and dig out any strays. This included lopping off any ends to save the nail dig out and chop any really warped boards in half to help with the straightening process. From the large pile there were several not worth it stretchers. These blue pallets that were in the bin are riddled with nails on both sides. I could not even pull the nails out of these ones, which is a first for me. These pine stretchers I've put aside because they are nice and straight and pretty handy for all sorts of framing things and house your fathers around the shed. I managed to straighten all this stock on the jointer. Normally if something is a little wonky donkey, I have to use a straightening jig on the table saw and that is much faster. You can see that done heaps of times in my other videos. Some sort of red gum, hardwood, hardius precarious, hard to say. But what I love about them is all this gnarly void, holes, insect, whatever has created those. I'm going to hopefully pull several mallet handles out of these ones. Up until now, the labour that I've already put into this, just 2 mallet handles, is easy going to make all this labour worth the effort. The straightening and squaring process took me again about roughly an hour and a half. So in total that is about 3 hours of labour to get to this pile of timber. I don't really get into the argument when it comes to comparing labour of reclaimed timber weighed up against going to buy the timber almost ready to go. I'm pretty confident I could not get this pile of wood even close to the cost of my 3 hours labour. And I like recycling. That's what I do. It makes me feel good on the inside. So, little spoiler alert, I am already going to claim this is worth it. But keep watching, I want to slice these up further and continue to join pieces of wood to other pieces of wood. I like to think the more that I slice up pallet wood, the better it gets. However, the stock pile will start to shrink every time the timber goes through a machine. So at a guess, I think I'll have about enough pallet wood to create the waterfall top and side and have some sort of lamination pattern. I am thinking that I will go and buy, that's right, pay monies for timber for the base cabinet. That is also going to save me a heap of time and I simply don't have enough reclaimed stock on hand. I also want a nice light uniform colour downstairs because there's going to be plenty going on up above. Now we put a lot of time and effort into growing our little businesses or side hustles, and a lot of that business is online or is e-commerce. So we have to protect ourselves. And the best way to help you do that is with a VPN, a Surfshark VPN. Surfshark will not only mask your IP address, but it will encrypt all of your data to and from its destination, keeping it safe from the bad actors or dodgy groups or individuals. There is no point doing all the hard work only to hand it over because you didn't take some simple steps like getting yourself a VPN. Here is the fun part about Surfshark. Let's say you are a traveling business human and you really want to catch up on your favorite TV shows and movies, but you can't watch them because of regional restrictions. Simply set your VPN to the region you need and away you go. And here is another very cool feature. It is called Surfshark Alert. Get alerted immediately. If your account has been involved in a data leak, you will quickly be able to change your passwords and secure those accounts. Click the link in the description to Surfshark below to start your protection today. And you'll also get yourself 3 months free when you use the code DANAMADE. Thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. I'm sorting all the slats, removing the shorties, trimming up the long ones, so I have roughly the same length throughout. I'm turning over all the knots and also flipping anything with nail holes over as well. I'm trying to create one good side and one shonky side, so people can tell me this is not pallet wood, and I can reply with, "You have caught me again, shopping at the fake pallet store." Fair income. Alrighty, the plan for the waterfall is to create a chevron or a zigzag pattern that has a little three-dimensional look, which means lots of tight bond, gluing pieces of wood to other pieces of wood. However, glued offset on a 45 degrees so that I save a lot of waste. I have 6 45-degree slabs of pallet wood glory that I'll use for the pattern. Hopefully I'll have enough to go all across the top and down one side as per the SketchUp plans. With one square edge and the slab faces parallel, I can now make the cuts that are the precursor to revealing the pattern. Take your time and extra care when doing these cuts. Make sure your hands don't follow those 45s into the metal spinny thing. So more slicing up on the table saw and then more gluing. Now I spent all that time creating the good side and the shonker side. I did not consider that half of the stock would actually then get flipped back upside down when the pattern is created. No big deal. At least I have reduced the ugly ducklings by about 50%. I am gluing up the full slab in small sections. Less confusion to keep all the correct pieces of the puzzles with their other pieces of puzzles. It actually caused me more grief later on, as each section was never going to clamp up identical. Bringing 2 zigzags together was a bit of a bastard, to be perfectly honest. Now when you're asking yourself, is it worth the effort or not, whether you are reclaiming the timber or buying it off the shelf, you have to admit, when this pattern starts to reveal itself, you can probably say, yes, it's worth it. These 45-degree miters have always been my nemesis and somewhat of a check square nightmare for me. So I'm doing all the things to make sure these cuts are nice and square and straight, and I've also done a few test cuts for the 45. Wish me luck. I made a little blunder cutting through the slab. I lost the distance of the kerf and therefore the pattern does not line up perfectly over the waterfall. Ideally you want to cut the perfect triangle out of your slab and fold that edge over. Next time, surely. Also, if you can make your slab in total, then do your cuts, grief will be far less. Again, joining the zigzags was less than awesome. I'm quickly running out of shed days. I head out to buy more timber. My local is having a show long weekend. They are closed. I check out the other local, and what a fucking rip-off they are. I also casually checked Bunnings and equally casually left Bunnings and went home empty-handed. So I am freaking out a little bit now. I had a full woodwork day to get most of the cabinet parts measured up and machined up. Then my inner tight-ass mode was engaged. Why don't I use what I have right here, right now, create the appearance of solid timber without the big hairy price tag, and I don't have to think about wood movement. Happy days. Now there has been a little make it up as you go, which I was trying to avoid because Sam is the poor bloke down there on the SketchUp task. I did go a little bit rogue and decided to go for a 3 drawers on the fly because it looked much nicer. And Sam the wizard retrospectively flashed up the 3D magic model. I am going like a crazy man. Not many shed days left before I want this completed. Half lapping my nice Vic Ash veneered ply is coming along very nicely. There's been a lot of figuring this out as I go. Joining the other end together with the waterfall caused me a lot of grief. To make all these line up when they're glued up slightly different was a little bit of a task. So lesson learned, I'm going to clean these ones up individually and get them into position and glue it all together. Saying that, down the end of the waterfall, I didn't want to cut a massive slab on the table saw. Cutting those miters with a small strip made things easier. So, and now it is time to sort the nemesis of a waterfall glue up. I like this technique for including a spline in the miter. I place my mitered pieces back to back, which then creates the 90-degree edge you want to utilize your router with a little fence. It is a beautiful thing. Check square and alignment, glue, spline, clamp it all together, get all the pattern aligned as perfect as possible. As far as I can tell, the corner clamping is all going swimmingly. With my nemesis, the waterfall edge. Until, oh dear, check square. Waterfall edge, you win again. Moving on. A bit of finish will certainly lift my spirits. I'm trying out another hard wax oil. This one I picked up from Studio Doubled. It's Livix Kunos Countertop Oil, which has a nice matte finish. Well, was it worth it? My fur coat it was. I love this slab of palletwood pattern glory. What do you reckon? And I'm out of time. Stop the clock. That is all I can get done. Okay, so I'm on the bench for a few weeks. Let's call it light duties. I have to stay away from the dust for a little bit. I'll explain later. Also, it's confession time. The plan for this coffee table was to simply make something and sell something. However, I may not be able to do that. There is a few things that are not quite right, and these things do happen when you try something new technique, whatever. There is a couple of check square issues that got me good on this one. And I also made a blunder on the height of the waterfall. I forgot about the thickness of the slab. That can be fixed if I reduce the height of the overall cabinet in total. However, I have a few weeks to ponder my options. I still want to try the bendy legs. I also have a thing on the way to help me make the drawers. And as you know, I love drawers. Look, if all else fails, I am going to have the most beautiful table saw outfeed table on the internet. And to be fair, that is far more valuable to me than the cassiola that this was probably going to make, given that my side hustle to my side hustle is making video for you, tube. Now, if you want to see a project that I did complete, why don't you check out this dining table made of 40 skateboards and a gigantic pallet. Or click the link in the description for Surfshark 3 months for free with the code DANAMAY. Catch you later.